Hello, everyone, and welcome to P1 Broadcasting presenting the INDYCAR Series Top Split Open Action from the Kansas Speedway. 125 laps tonight around the 1.5 mile oval in Kansas, opened in 2001, built in the late 90s. With us in the booth, and we're going to have to get his thoughts before he goes tonight. Kyle Klindworth has joined us. He is going to be exchanging the microphone for the steering wheel this evening. Clindy, how about it? What do you think we're going to see tonight, brother?
Well, Murphy, thank you so much for having me on the racetrack tonight, and hopefully I'll be able to join you under the yellows. But the air temps are cool, the track temp is down. You're going to see a lot of three-wide action, people moving middle to top, top to bottom, looking to build runs and split gaps in the middle. You'll see a lot of hot dogs in a bun getting squirted forward and squirted backward all evening long as we navigate the Kansas cornfields today, just outside the casino and on this progressively banked racetrack. You might see a few people try to save fuel all race long to try to make a very aggressive fuel save to cut a two-stop race to one stop. I do not believe that that is the winning strategy, just because you may need to save too much and go too slowly for too long. Whereas if we saw like at Michigan where Marco and Seb were working together swapping, if you get a couple of fast cars at the front with a little bit of downforce keyed out of them, they'll be able to swap draft away from the pack and probably make up all of that time that the savers will work for over this 125 lap event.
Absolutely, and cars getting ready to, there are cars on the speedway. You can kind of see them down there. They're getting ready. This 3-minute practice before the session begins, Clindy, if you weren't in the booth with me, what would you be doing right now?
Well, in practice, you can farm safety rating. I know a lot of people do that. You can also practice your pit in and pit out. Pit in is very treacherous here because you go from a very steeply banked racing surface to a nearly flat apron. So as the car de-wedges off of the banking, you can find trouble there all day long. And then exiting pit road, it's going to be pretty slick. It's the slickest part of the track just because there's not enough use down there. If more cars ran there, like if you ran a race just on the bottom of the track, it would tack up and it would be easier to run on. But as it sits, it's just very slick, and you've got to really baby the car until you're back on the racing surface proper.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kyle. We are going to toss you back down with Jacob Collins, your road racing teammate, and we might get a chance to pop you back up here during any caution flags. But you got to go qualify, my man. Get out of here. LGN, this is going to be a fun one. It's always good to have Clindy around. He's a fun guy. It's always good to have him around, and it's good to see him racing. We're gonna go ahead and pop up Jacob Collins and his qualifying effort, and we'll get the speeds up here for you momentarily. Right now, Collins is the fastest in qualifying, 2:17.940. LGN, Clindy kind of hit the nail on the head. It's kind of an interesting save. You'd have to make 63 laps in a stint. That's a pretty tall task, don't you think, my friend?
Actually, it's a very tough thing. Good afternoon for everyone. So it's going to be a tough because we're talking about fixed series. It's like, it's going to be a pack race. But here is a setup, open, different thing, different strategy, different minds around. So we don't know how it's going to be the degradation on the tires. What about the weather? Is a 98 Fahrenheit on track, but it's going to be interesting to see a really long time. And don't be on open race track. It's very tough, especially when you're trying to fix something or maybe try to figure out about the track. So it's going to be interesting. Like Clendy said, it's going to be a pack race, but I don't know. What kind of we want to expect it today? But Marco Brazil is the fastest for now, 25.0.
Watching Kyle Klindworth there, he's out on his qualifying laps, about 40 seconds to go. We finally got trading paints to come to us, and so you see the paint scheme on the machine for Clindy. He goes fifth quick, 218.299. This does, I do want to kind of give a brief history of the speedway. By the way, the track temp, or the air temp 74, track is 99, so it's not amazingly hot, but it's not cool either. It's kind of that in between. This place was broke ground in 1999. It opened in 2001, and it has hosted a wide variety of events. Of course, it has an annual NASCAR date, Winston Cup, Nextel Cup, and now Sprint Cup and just Cup. But it's been here every year since the track was opened, at least once. Now they have two. The track had an annual INDYCAR date up through the late 2000s, and it's also hosted IMSA races. It does have a road course to it. The track record here, just so everybody is aware, is Thomas Schechter 217.092, and we are all well above that. On the pole, Alex Van de Zandt, 219.999 miles an hour. He's going to have Marco Brazil to his outside. We're going to have in row 2, Guillermo Miguel. He's going to go third next to AJ Musselman in fourth. Alexis Newsom, the I5G driver, she's going to roll fifth. Nick Sudik is going to be to Alexis's outside. Olivia Hayward is going to go seventh. Kyle Clinworth eighth. Jason Collins ninth. And Matt Hollyball will round out the top 10. Starting 11th, Jacob Collins. Lilac Zier is going to go 12th. Sam Carosella, the road racing ace, is 13th. James Allen 14th. Logan Edwards 15th. Setting no times. And can you believe this group that didn't set a time, LGN? Robert Malechka, Adam Blocker, Phil Kraus, Jesper Orman, Seb Alexander, that is 16th through 20th, and rounding out the field, shotgun, is Nathan Moore. Some interesting names did not take time there, Luis.
I think I cannot believe it when Clendy said it's gonna be a pack race. So and they figured out it doesn't work to go into the qualifying and try to do something on the front. Maybe like we saw we see on the fixed series, it's like a going back to front, and what I always call it like no challenge qualifying for them. But it's gonna be interesting what you said. So maybe zero fuel, it's long race, it's no sprint like we saw on fixed, like a 60 laps. It's 125 laps around, and this patient and just be on the track. So it's going to be interesting to that.
And this is, Luis, this is a pretty stout field. 49.09 the strength of field. The price of poker here, number 21, Jason Collins, you had to have a 37.20 I rating just to even get in this race. So this is a very, very talented and deep oval crowd, as you see him coming off a pit lane there behind Alex Van de Zandt, who is your pole sitter. He's got Marco Brazil to his outside. As I like to do, we'll kind of take attendance. We'll go back, look at Jeremy and AJ. That's row 2. You've got Alexis in the I5G car next to her good buddy Nick Sudik and our good friend Nick. That's 5th and 6th. Olivia Hayward and Clindy 7th and 8th. And then Jason Collins and Matt Hollyball 9th and 10th. That's a heck of a good run there for the road cars. Not an open setup team, but they did a great job in qualifying. But all that's over now. They're going to come off of turn 4. The green flag is in the air.
Green flag.
It is waving, and racing has begun. 125 laps here at Kansas. Alex Van de Zandt gets the jump down into turn 1. Go ahead, Luis.
Oh, yeah. So I have to notice something. Kevin Barrell is not here, and he's the lead on the Open Series. So actually, maybe I confused. No, he's the leader. He's not here, but one of the persons could be a new leader here. Except Alexander is also in the field on the back and 20th position. So, wow, Clendy on the wall. Oof, and he taking somebody.
You know, let's kind of go back and see what happened to Clindy here. He's going off into turn number 1, lap 2. He's got the bottom side there, Luis. He's going into the corner, and we've got it in slow mo. Does he just get some dirty air here, you think?
I think. Let me see. I think maybe he going through the corner. I think so. He didn't. I expected after maybe 2 laps or 3 laps, you still have to lift the throttle and don't just going through. And I think so. Clendy saw that and
Ooh.
hit the ball.
Tough break. Clindy goes up. He scrapes the wall. He comes down, grabs poor Matt Hollybaugh, who's a victim of circumstance. Hollybaugh is gonna come down and tag. Going to come down toward the inside wall. He does not hit anything. Matt Hollybaugh is back in the action, and so for that matter, is Kyle Clinworth. They are back at speed. Hollybaugh is 8 seconds back. Kyle Clinworth is 9. Jesper Orman in the IR machine, he has fallen 13 seconds off the pace, and got to wonder if that's a strategy call for Jesper, or did something happen to him? We'll go back to the front.
He started from pit, so he started on pit lane, so that's why.
Started from the pit lane. So we'll go back to the front. We've got Alex Van de Zandt leading. Marco Brazil is second. Alexis Newsom is third. Sudik has moved to fourth. And rounding out the top 5, Guillermo Miguel, as we go through the early running here in Kansas. And I got to think, Luis, now everybody's just trying to settle down. This track, and we got a battle for the lead. Marco wants to lead it, but this track is notoriously difficult on tires. You wonder if everybody's just kind of laying back and saving their stuff, especially up at the front.
Is it really what you said? This is really tough, especially in day. I think so nice getting a little bit safe for you on the tires, but like I said, we don't know what is the declaration in each single car because it's an open setup, and I don't know how much downforce we use in the car to going fast. Like I want to Marco Brazil want to going first because he knows he could be faster on the lead. So the question is how's it gonna be the tires, and how's it gonna be for Alexander Van der Zandt to be on front. But the question is, like you said, it's hard, especially on, I think so for me, turn 3 and 4 is more difficult to take it than 1 and 2.
Absolutely. And you were mentioning downforce and choices. One of the things that we can see, because it's an open setup race, is we can look at the rear wings. Now, you can't really tell much about the angle because those are very much preset, but you can tell if they've got the wickers on the rear wings. Alex Van de Zandt, clean rear wing. Marco Brazil, clean rear wing. Alexis Newsom has a clean rear wing on her i5G machine. What about the Team Watson car of Sudik? It does not have the wicker, and neither does Guillermo. Kind of go back. Let's look at one of the team. Let's look at one of the Fiercely Ford team cars. That Sam Carosella. He does not have the rear wicker. What about Malechka, the other Power Slide car? No rear wicker. Same for Phil Kraus. And then lastly, the Indy Alliance car. Seb Alexander, Jesper Orman. No rear wickers on their cars either. So that tells me that the guys have gone for a slicker setup. They don't necessarily want all the downforce. They want all the speed here, Luis.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's a good thing. To be honest, I am not really expert. I tried to going in the open long time in my gold era. Try to do something open. I have some maybe teach some stuff for Marco in that time when we talked too much, a lot. We talked a lot in that moment. No, we don't talk anymore. But still something I don't know. But it's really tough, and I think so. All these people over here really expert on all this stuff, and it doesn't matter how the setup it is the condition they have at the track, and the track is now in 104 Fahrenheit on track.
Absolutely. One of the things I did want to kind of keep track of is the progress of Kyle Clinworth and Matt Hollybaugh back through the field. Now, they have caught up to each other, and they are working together. Last lap by for Alex Van de Zandt, 2:14.571. We're going to check that for Clindy and Matt Hollybaugh this time by, but they are faster. They are an entire mile an hour faster, and what that translates to is about 1/10 of a second. So when they had their accident, they were over 8 seconds behind. They're now chopped it to 7.5. Another car that is making inroads is Jesper Orman. Now, As Luis said, Jesper did start from the pit lane. He was over 13 seconds behind to begin the race. He's now cut that to 12 and a half. So these cars that are in the back, both Klinworth, Hallibaugh, and Orman are really faster than the leaders. Orman, that time by, was the third fastest car on the speedway. The two fastest are Hallibaugh and Klinworth. And speaking of fast, let's talk about Adam Blocker here a minute. Blocker was one of those cars that did not qualify. The Dark Knight, of course, famed for his prowess in Lionheart, among other series. He sat on the podium in the Indy Elite Series last night. Yours truly managed to squeak out a 14th place, which for me on a road course is pretty amazing, Luis. I don't do those very well, but Blocker, them guys started in the back and they're starting to work their way forward. Blocker, he started 16th and he's up to 12th. So Adam Blocker is he's coming to the front. Started 17th rather.
Yeah, it's coming on the front. It's gonna be Miguel is close to Marco. I saw close on Marco and Miguel. Yeah, you mentioned Matt, and also it's the fastest lap for Matt, 25.1. But the thing is, they work in each other. But the thing is, what about actually they in the group now? Matt Sullivan is in the group now with Clendy. But the thing is, how much fuel they burn it, because all these people going slow. It's because they want to go in for one stop on this race. So that's the disadvantage when you're going back and going to the front again.
Yeah, they've committed themselves to the two-stop strategy, having to run this group down. But you're right, they have caught Hallibaugh and Klinworth have actually now passed Logan Edwards, who's going to the tail end of that train, and they are now, Hallibaugh now, doing battle with Phil Krause. I don't want to leave the battle for the lead because Guillermo is gone past Marco Brazil into second place. He'll try to track down the back of Alex Van de Zandt, the power slide machine, so move Guillermo Miguel up to second. Marco Brazil put him to third. Alexis Newsom is the interested party. She is fourth, and Nick Sudik will run fifth. Meanwhile, Adam Blocker continues to make progress. He's just gone around Sam Carosella, and he'll now work on AJ Musselman. So move the Dark Knight from 17th starting spot, up to 10th. Meanwhile, we're going to check on Hallibaugh because Matt Hallibaugh has now caught the back end of Robert Malechka and Nathan Moore. Moore, a road racing ace. He's been on the broadcast and finished on the podium twice when it involves rights and lefts. Today it's just lefts, and we might be seeing a weak spot for Nathan. Over 8,000 iRating on the roadside, just a hair above 4,000 here. And so maybe a little bit of a learning experience in this environment to him. But Hallibaugh has been a man on the mission. Klinworth got to the back of this train, and he checked up and slowed up and said, I'm not going forward any further. Matt Hallibaugh caught the back of the group, and he has been blowing by people. He worked his way past Seb Alexander. He's gone past Nathan Moore, and now he's got his sights set on pretty much the king of everything these days in these cars, Robert Malechka, who runs 14th.
I think so. The best bet for Matt and Clendy is the yellow flag, especially for Matt because he already going back to 15 now, and it's going fast. It's because all these people mentioned again is heavy fuel. But the bet for these two guys is the yellow flag because if it's not a yellow, they need to at least one stop and maybe one splash to go to the end. But that's why Clendy is stepping on there in 17th position is because I think you can save a little bit more to stay longest on the track.
Yeah, and that's what Clendy and those guys are doing. He got to the back of this train and immediately slowed down. Matt Hallibaugh kept his foot on the hammer. He wants to go to the front. And kind of what we're talking about with speeds here, fans, is simply this. So we qualified here faster than the track record. They've slowed down 5 miles an hour from where we started at. Alex Van de Zandt was on the pole at a little over 219. The pace is 5 miles an hour slower. So that tells me even out there leading that Alex Van de Zandt is definitely not he's not giving it all of the horsepower that the Dallara IR18 and Chevrolet or Honda trim is capable of, is he?
Yeah, for sure. Something for history. July 7 was the pole for Thomas Scheckter in that day with make the track record. Ayrton Daré, Sam Hornich, and Helio Castro Neves the podium on that day on the race in the afternoon in 2002.
I remember watching that on TV. I did not go to it. I went to Chicago that year, a very similar track, Chicagoland, watching Robert Malechka work his way around AJ Musselman. He is now caught the back of Hyperslide teammate Adam Blocker, or Powerslide teammate Adam Blocker, or however you would like to say it. But Blocker and Malechka, very close friends, very fine race drivers in their own right, both of them. Malechka and Blocker now work 10th and 11th. Hollybaugh has kind of followed him up through there. AJ Musselman has slipped back to 13th. And these two are setting their sights on Jason Collins, but they got a ways to go if they want to get to Collins. He's about 0.6 of a second up the road.
Look at that, Robert Malechka is going to the front, so he really stopped to save fuel. Now, you know what? This is a good strategy to when you save fuel, maybe half a tank, and then you have to push to go to the front, and then you're going to make the pit stop in the front. It's much better than going in the back. So that's the strategy he do it every single race, especially when it's you see a pack race, like it's not a pack race. Basically, pack race is like everybody's in the same second and side by side for 100 laps. But here is a spray. Like we see
it's kind of what I would call Luis an enforced pack race. We just saw Guillermo go to the lead. Marco Brazil followed him in a second. Alexis Newsom went to third. Alex Van de Zandt has gone from the lead back to fourth, and he's under fire for fifth, just basically in one lap. And that tells me he's looking down at the dash of his Dallara, and he does not like what he sees in the MPG category. We're going to go on board, and we're going to show you guys what we're talking about, all the information that's contained on the screen of one of these cars, the Cosworth Pi Dash. Of course, on the left, you've got distance to the car in front, distance to the car behind, and then the amount of fuel left in the tank. Now, that is going to be in either liters or gallons, depending on the driver's preference. You have the lap counter, so that counts backwards how many laps to go. You've got your last lap in time and the differential in time. I've never quite figured out what the differential was. But anyway, you see some of those numbers updating, and you see some of them as 0. And the reason that you see them as 0 is that iRacing blanks them out so that your competitors can't have somebody doing what we're doing, spectating the race. We're televising it, of course, but iRacing, says we don't want your competitors to, be able to look in your car and see what your settings are, because those settings across the bottom of the page, the bottom of the wheel, front ARB, rear ARB, those are the anti-roll bars. As the number in the middle is the weight jacker. The fourth number down there is the fuel position. 1 is full go, 5 is full lean, 6 and 7 are used for road courses, 8 is the caution map. MPG is just what it says. How many miles to the gallon are you getting, or liters per kilometer if it so tickles your fancy. And then lastly, the position on the track you're in is the final box. But a lot of that is not illuminated because it would be a competitive advantage to have that information available to all in real time. Meanwhile, we're watching Alex Van de Zandt. He has gone to fourth. Marco Brazil and Guillermo Miguel, they're fighting for the lead, and Alexis Newsom is there.
It's very close. I'm there. Actually, yeah, she's there. I think so. For the strategy for Alexis is just stay there, because it's kind of, I want to say, jungle battle over there in between these two guys, and Marco and Miguel. But if you're gonna go into the bubble of these two guys, it's just gonna be some bad things. So just, I think, for Alexis is stay over there, especially for Seb Alexander, because Alexander Van der Zandt is in fourth. Just stay over there, because you don't need to push too much, because you know what? Every time when you're going to the pit, you can gain at least 2 seconds if you do it perfectly. And if you're coming in and coming out, you can at least win maybe 2.5 seconds at least.
Yeah, and you want to give yourself time. I mean, these two guys up here, they are racing extremely hard for the lead of this thing. And, every driver has a reputation, right? We all run against each other so much that you kind of know tendencies. And I got to believe that Alexis, knowing who she's racing around, is happy to keep a little bit of distance between herself and the two Brazilians that are leading the train here. One, she's saving a ton of gas, but she wants to make sure that if they collect each other, that she's not involved.
Yeah, that's the hard part, because eventually all the cars going too high, but could be going down, and this is the wrong stuff. So, but yeah, she's pretty good. I think so. She, like you said, is save the fuel, try to go in for 3 or 4 more laps when it respected. Miguel maybe is gonna go and couple, maybe 10 more laps, so maybe 12 more, maybe something like that. And yeah, so it's like I leave these guys to battle and us stay over the back.
Absolutely. And you think about people maybe needing a pit stop. Jesper Orman has already been to pit lane. James Allen and Olivia Hayward, Olivia Hayward is in the pit lane. Nathan Moore has now dropped all the way to the back. So we've got people coming. I would anticipate pit stops, especially from these front two, Guillermo and Marco Brazil. I would expect them to be coming sooner rather than later. They are not in position to have saved a drop of methanol.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a good approach for us to know. Olivia, she came now. We can say she needs one more stop to go into the end. But the thing is, this guy didn't want to go into one more splash. So that's why he extended the pits to the last liter or maybe gallon you have. So I think it's going to be excited or maybe entertaining to see in the end, especially if it's a green flag race.
Yeah, it will be. These are always fun to see who's played the strategy right. Is it go go go, or is it save and bide your time? And right now, the front two are not saving or biding any time. They are both flat out. Guillermo on the bottom in the IRL line, as we call it, right around the white line. Marco Brazil trying desperately to pass him on the top. And then you've got Newsom, Van de Zandt, Hollybaugh, and Sudik just basically observing the proceedings. They've made no effort to pass each other or the front two. Go back a little bit further. We've talked about Jason Collins. How about Lilac Zier? She is 8th. So great run for Lilac. You see her there in the pink and black machine. Very close. So we got a car going sideways. That's Sam Carosella. Is he going to save it? Save it, Sam!
He saved it.
All right, man.
And he yellow flags out.
So we're going to get the yellow light right before pit stops were to have occurred. That's really going to hurt Olivia Hayward. And watch the hands here, the fast hands for Sam Carosella, because this is hairy. He's gonna. We're catching him going down into turn 1, and he fought that car for a good 300 or 400 yards, Luis.
Kind of like that. So also figure out it's very lucky because the 60% or maybe 70% of this kind of slice is always the car is going up. And look at that, who's side by side with him. Actually, Adam Blocker is next to him, hit the wall and slowed down in the same time when he spun. So it's kind of lucky of him.
Yeah, you see Blocker scraping the wall. Sam gets sideways. He's gonna take it to the left, and he never stops driving this car. Look at his hands. He looks like he's going to get it straightened out. He's going to get back on the power. It's going to start looping around just as he gets it straightened up. But I don't think he hit anything.
He didn't hit anything, so it's very lucky.
Absolutely, but we're gonna get back because we've got a race off the pit lane. Guillermo is going to beat Alex Van de Zandt and Alexis Newsom out of the pit lane, followed by Nick Sudik, Matt Hollybaugh, Jason Collins. Marco Brazil went from 2nd to 6th on that deal. He did not beat Jason Collins, or did he?
To 7.
They seem to be having well, Marco and Jason Collins seem to be having a disagreement over who's going to be 6th there. Collins does have the spot. So put Marco back to 7th. Lilac Zier is 8th. Robert Malechka has crept into the top 10. He is 9th. And look who is back in the top 10, Luis. Our man Kyle Clinworth. Let's get Clindy up here. Clindy, you got Luis and Mark in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy.
I do, Murph. You got a copy on me?
You know I do. So you started 8th. You tried to make the highlight reel early. Was that just dirty air? You got down in there and didn't quite turn like you wanted it to?
Yeah, so I had done a lot of practice in 2 4-car packs, like 4 or 5 cars right in front of me. And when the car fired off on new tires, it was never that tight in dirty air. So it was just way tighter than I was expecting. So I bailed, I yanked it left, I put weight jacker in, I did everything I could to keep it off the wall. Hit the wall anyway, and then I collected poor Matt, but we both had no damage. We checked our cars down, shook them down, make sure they were okay, and then we hammered down and caught back up. Matt's up there in the top 5, and he just caught traffic a little easier than I did. The first few drivers we came up on were taking the tie side where I wanted to be, and then when I got to Adam Blocker, man, that is the first time I've ever passed that man. So you saw it here on P1, hopefully, but really hectic, really fun, and we're about to go green.
Absolutely. So we're gonna put Kyle back with his teammate Jacob Collins. The Rogue guys have been kind enough to join us, but we're gonna kind of watch this restart. I want to watch this restart from the onboard perspective of Kyle Clinworth, and you're going to see the telemetry there. First gear, you're on the roll hoop. You're going to ride right behind one of the grand champions of our community, Robert Malechka, as they get ready to go back green. Start lap 49 of 125 here at the Kansas Speedway. He's going to go for the move, and he's got some help.
Yeah.
Of course, that might have been a little bit premature because now that's going to open the hole for Adam Blocker. Blocker is going to get to Clindy's inside, but Clindy is going to draft Malechka down the backstretch, and he will maintain 10th place overall. Now he's going to get Blocker to his inside, so move Adam Blocker to 10th, Clindy 11th, and here comes the IR machines. That's Seb Alexander. But look who's made it from the pit lane start. Jesper Orman. He started from the pit lane. He was 15 seconds behind to start this race. Back up in the pack in 16th. And right ahead of him is the hyperslide machine of Phil Kraus. So Phil is 15th. Jesper and Phil, that's a lot. That's a ton of experience riding 15th and 16th in this race there, LGN.
You never have to put down on Jesper Orman. It doesn't matter if it's started on pit lane. He always is a candidate to win the race. I know it's still 75 to go, but we have a bunch of stuff to do. Also, one more stuff for everyone around this track. So it is candidate for me also for at least finish up top 5.
Absolutely. And these are cars that we really haven't talked about all that much. Jesper, you see there. You've got AJ Musselman in that group. Phil Kraus, of course, the purple and black machine. He's been a winner on our broadcast previously. You see in front of him, you've got Seb Alexander in the other Indy Alliance car, and they are on the back of Kyle Clinworth now. So Blocker has gotten past Clindy, but Clindy has not given up the position to anybody else, and this group is kind of losing touch with the front guys. There you see the gap from Malechka's onboard. I don't want to say they're not losing the draft, but they're not exactly in it either, are they, Luis?
They are 1.3. Wait, no, they are really close. But the thing is, they still over there. But less divided for each other. Could be more close for the battle. So also to the record, Van de Sande is a new leader on the race.
Absolutely. So Van de Zandt won the race, or was second off a pit lane. He managed to jump Guillermo at the start, and he will lead it. Guillermo Miguel is second. Marco Brazil is third, and he's battling with Alexis Newsom. You see the red, white, and blue machine of Alexis Newsom there on the bottom.
A little bit loose. Marco Brazil on the exit on the turn 2. About the pass on the Alexander Van der Sar, was close on the exit on turn 4. And yes, because he have the apron, he could make the pass.
Absolutely. Now, this is something that fans of our broadcast will note that Clindy and I have pointed out before, and you see Clindy in the background there. He's side by side with Robert Malechka. But something that our fans will have noticed, the car of Marco Brazil, the 13, is a rocket when it's out front. But historically, if you can get Marco back in traffic, his car doesn't drive so good. And so it'd be interesting to see now that this is the first time that Marco has not been either leading or P2. So first time he's been in dirty air. Is Marco going to be able to hang up there, or is the handling going to go away on that 13 car? And if it does, how far back will he slide?
Yeah, that's why always he tried to go into the front and try to get a clean air. I really know, I don't know actually, but I really kind of know about the strategy of Marco. It's fast in qualifying. The Indy 500 qualifying for him is really fast. In that moment before, is the guy to beat every time, and especially in oval. So the guy, for what I know, for a long time ago, is just close 3 wide over there. It's fast, so he wants to go into the front, but it's getting a struggle, and also it's kind of loose the car. I see on the back of the car is a little bit loose, and it's gonna be more complicated on the end of the steam.
Yeah, let's take a ride on Marco Brazil's car, and let's see what we can see. We've got the telemetry up 222 miles an hour off into turn 1. But I'm with you, LGN. He's opening those hands up a lot on entry. Just trying to keep the car from stepping out. The same on exit. It does appear to be a very, very loose machine for the 13.
It's not comfortable with the car. He's looking for up, he's looking for down. And if you stay up, like now, it's going to be 3 wide, but he don't want to because, net code is around the corner, so he don't want to that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that kind of lurks here, and we've talked about that netcode gremlin quite a bit, Clindy and I. It's always ever present, especially in these cars at these speeds in these tight of quarters. You always have to be kind of mindful of who you're around. You've got Guillermo and you've got Marco there, both of them in Brazil. You've got Alexis Newsom and Alex Van de Zandt, both of them in the United States. I can't recall exactly where Alexis is from. Alex is in Atlanta, Georgia, if memory serves. So you've got Atlanta to Boston to Sao Paulo to Boston, and just those little micro stutters, and it's not much, but those can ruin your day in a hurry.
Yeah, especially what is happening on Michigan, or no? I think so. Michigan will have that incident with Marco and others with the netcode and things. So I hope it did not happen over here because we have a good race, and the only yellow flag wasn't for problem with other cars. So it's pretty good race that we have so far.
Absolutely, the battle at the front is fast and fierce. We are going to let's take a look back just a little bit deeper. You've got Matt Hollybaugh and Lilac Zier. They are 6th and 7th. You've got Jacob Collins right behind them. And then just creeping into the picture underneath Adam Blocker, that's the blue and gold Indy Alliance machine of Jesper Orman. The fast Swede has announced his presence in the top 10, and he's looking for more, but he's kind of blocked up there. He's got too many cars in front of him. He might have the run, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go there, LTN.
It's hard. You have the momentum, but when you come to the front row, it's like, oh, this is the wall. What else can do? Nothing else, because Marcos is in the first line, and then you have Miguel over there, and then Alexis is just waiting for the moment, or maybe just still save it fuel for something, and then you have a Nick Sudik over there, and what else I can do? And also it's Adam Blocker put the nose in front of the on the Collins. It's almost hit each other, so it was close.
Yeah, that was close. It was shades of last week at Texas where you would get these amazing runs. So Texas with that huge wide turn 1 and 2. We will be there tonight in the ISRA series. Gary's going to carry that one at 9:30. Clindy and I are going to flip seats, and I will get the steering wheel in hand. But, you know, at Texas, you would get these wild, amazing runs coming out of turn 2, go down the back, all the way through turns 3 and 4, which are flat out. And the car would be wound out at about the start-finish line, and you would have these amazing runs at the entrance to turn 1, and then the cars would be 5 wide in front of you. You had nowhere to go. Guys standing on their brakes and running in the back of the car in front of them because you had such huge momentum, and you're kind of seeing that here. Adam Blocker, that movie Tried on Collins, he went down and it just didn't stick. He almost washed clean up the track, and I bet if we went back and looked at the telemetry for Adam Blocker's car on that lap, Adam would have been on the brakes there. He just couldn't turn the car.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. It's playing with the patient. You don't need to be going to. It's still 57, 56 to go now. Pass on the line, and we're still on the race. It's still the strategy on in the race. So we don't need. Oh, it's going to the wall. I block it a little bit, and that's why Maleshka is still on the back. You see, I'm going for Maleshka 16 now, and I think so. He don't want to push yet, so that's why Maleshka is my what is the word? The guy.
Yeah, he's
what's the momentum?
Well, when is it time to go? Is Robert Maleshka? Let's come back and look at Rob. There he is. He has fallen back to 16th. He's behind teammate Phil Kraus in 15th. He's got James Allen with him. Olivia Hayward has made her way back to the lead lap, but she's 3.5 seconds behind this group. Hayward, Nathan Moore, and Sam Carosella, they're all kind of running a race of their own. And I got to kind of believe, LGN, that Maleshka, if you look out the front of his car, the pack is far enough ahead. He's got Phil there, so he and Phil are kind of equally spaced. But they're, if I'm thinking right, they're just waiting to avoid the crash.
Maybe. I think so. It's 3 seconds in between him and the leader Van den Sand in front, but it's still on draft from Phil Kraus. So don't surprise if he. And maybe 10 laps to go, we're gonna see Phil Kraus, Maleshka, what else? Collins maybe. I'm gonna set Blocker on the front, but I want to see the pit stop and green flag.
I do too. I mean, I do too. That's kind of where you make your money here. These races are so tight. If you're just a few tenths quicker on and off a pit lane, it's the difference between winning the race or finishing 10th. We do have a lot of people watching out there, and I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. 5TIG, of course, Olivia has chimed in the chat. She's right. That was going to be the undercut of the century. Just unfortunate and unlucky there for Olivia, but still a long way to go. Dudes Castronev is also watching. Do want to thank everybody out there for tuning in the broadcast. If I know times are tough and it's just past the holidays, but we are doing these for free for the community. But tips are always accepted. So if you go in the description there, you can most definitely find a GoFundMe link. And if you feel like tossing us a few bucks, why, that would be more than appreciated. It goes to pay for things like these new overlays, cameras, and so forth. The fine folks at Whiplash that supply us those. So definitely appreciate that. We are 50 to go here, coming to 49, watching the battle between Nick Sudeek and Matt Hollybaugh. That was close, Luis.
That's pretty close on the exit. Yeah. Wow, Nick Sudeek going too high and then almost closer to Matt. So also, if you want to donate, just put the like on our channel on this event.
Yeah, hit like on the broadcast, hit subscribe on the channel. Any one of those things really does help us play the YouTube algorithm game, and we definitely appreciate it. By the way, Tony Estrada says hello. LGN, and the boss man is in the house. He's watching us. He wanted us to let you know that you sound amazing with your new microphone. So thank you so much, Gary.
Actually, it's gonna sound better in the ISRA It's coming on 9:30 today Eastern time. So it's not gonna. Don't forget it. It's gonna be me and Gary, or Gary and me, myself in there. Texas. It's gonna be also Clendy. It's gonna be you also, Mark. So it's gonna be interesting race after maybe 3 weeks or maybe.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and we're watching this furious race. Jesper Orman has made it to the front line, guys. He is fourth. He's working to the outside of Marco Brazil. They are former teammates, no longer, of course, but Jesper and Marco very well acquainted.
Oh, and Marco, oof!
And they're gonna have Marco 3 wide here. Sudik gonna swing it to the bottom. Jesper's on the top. Marco in the middle, and Marco's gonna give way. Put Jesper to third. Make Nick Sudik fourth. Alexis Newsom is gonna charge the outside. She's gonna try to follow Jesper through on the high side, but Marco slams the door. Sudik is gonna go for the bottom. He's gonna go for third.
Is Marco have lose the car? He want to push, but they can't. I think that's the problem where you want to go in on the front and also push too much on the car and also make the setup too aggressive. It's like a conservative about Van der Sar is still on the lead, easy on for him, but Marco's getting troubles on the setup.
Yeah, his car really seems to not like being in traffic, but we're nearing those final pit stops. 35 laps into this final, into the middle stint of this race. It was pretty much declared a 2-stopper with the yellow 38 laps ago for Sam Carasella's spin. Sam did not hit anything, and he is back on the speedway. He's running 20th. The battle at the front, though, you can't take your eyes away from it, Luis. Van de Zandt continues to lead it. He's just holding the bottom, but the action behind him is absolutely incredible. It's a hornet's nest from second back to about 7th.
They're very close. They're very excited. And also, Miguel is trying to test Van der Zandt to going close on him. And I think so. You don't want to test Van der Zandt. It's really the old guy. And Marco Aurelio's going close on the back wing of Miguel.
He is. Now, one of the things you'll notice when Alex comes around here, he is running the apron. Guillermo may be testing to see if he can get alongside of Alex, coming down that front straight. Because with 2 to go, if Guillermo can get down to the white line and pin Alex on the apron, Alex can't come back up. And he's either going to have to lift or cause a crash. And iRacing has made it very, very well known that if you are on the apron, if you're on the racing surface and you hit somebody coming back up, it is always protestable, and it is always on the person on the apron. So I can kind of see Guillermo. He's kind of trying to time that up. If you watch it, just maybe not let Alex back up.
Actually, we still. I think we need to wait for the end. It's too mature to thinking about it. What is going to happen? In my case, in my worry about now is Van der Zandt don't mess with the calculation on when you're going to the apron, because if you're going...
Whoa, Alexis Newsom with a slide, and Nick Sudik almost gets in the back of her. Oh, my goodness. Goodness gracious me, LG, and I'm sorry I had to cut you off, my friend. I thought Nick Sudik was going to clout the back of the number 8 i5G machine. They do not hit each other, but that was almost a moment. My goodness.
She clipped the apron. She clipped the apron with the front left tire and gone close to Marco and almost collected for Nick Sudik. Good about Nick Sudik about the brakes.
Yeah, that was an incredible save, an incredible miss. And the reason that I put the last lap speed up here, we kind of talked about it earlier when they were running around that first run. They were doing what, low 214s, Luis? 214, just low 214, something like that. They've turned the wick up. Alex Van de Zandt at the front of this field, 215.6 that last time by. So these guys are definitely going up.
That was close about Miguel. He didn't. He make the pitted in. He announced the pitted in. And you look at that on Alexis Newsom. How saved it. He went close.
Yeah, let's see, Guillermo coming into the pit lane.
So Alex, she didn't read that.
Holy
Wow.
mackerel. What a save from Alexis Newsom. Guillermo gets in the pit lane, but that was near disaster. And he has been
Olivia's coming to.
he's rolling out of the box, but he's going to go the lap down. And my goodness gracious, that's going to put Alex Van de Zandt back in the lead. Guillermo is quite a ways back. So Van de Zandt at the line, our former P2 runner, is basically a lap and a half down.
By the way, I have to mention this. Jesper Orman, 14th spot, and Sepp Alexander, 12th spot, now 13. So AJ Musselman called for pitting in now.
Yeah, so let's see AJ getting it on a pit lane. We are working 34 to go here. The right front tire smoke. Now the whole car locks up. AJ is going to get it down to pit lane speed. So good pit entry for him. He's pushing it. But let's see when these guys here, the guys and gals at the front, we can't not mention the ladies, Lilac Zier and Alexis Newsom, of course. Can't fail to mention them. But the guys and gals at the front of this thing are putting on a heck of a show. Van de Zandt continues to lead it. Brazil cannot pass him. But everybody behind them has gone absolutely bananas.
Yeah, they go crazy, and especially now, it's you have to take the good spot to go on the front and then try to make the pitted in. But it's hard, especially this pitted in is flat. You're going the approach to the pitted in is really violent. It's like you have to brake. If you don't brake, you're gonna get the black flag over there. And it's hard, especially on these cars.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things we tracked at the beginning of the race was Jesper Orman was about 2 or 3 tenths of a second a lap fast. Marco's coming in. Let's track him.
And also Matt in front of him. Wow.
Whoa, Marco's going to overcook it. He got back, but Marco Brazil lost a ton of time. You saw it. He went down to 30 miles an hour trying to get back underneath that cone. I'm wondering if Matt Holleyboss sped.
No, safe. So both of them called the pitted in. Van der Zandt is calling for pit now.
Now, we're going to leave the driver inputs up, and let's watch Alex Van de Zandt and how much smoother he is on the brakes. Alex just locks it up, gets it to 45, back up to 50. Well done for Alex Van de Zandt. That's going to turn the lead over to Alexis Newsom, and Jesper Orman now runs second. And I got to see the stops from these two because these two are both known in the community for their prowess getting on and off a pit lane.
And Orman take the lead for now. And Nick Sudik is coming now on pit.
Absolutely. We're going to stay with the lead. Now, one of the things I did want to say, too, as well, Luis, one of the things that this is helping, you see the name there, Lilac Zier. She is third. Lilac is absolutely in prime position to make up a ton of real estate. She was a second and a bit behind these guys watching Alexis come to pit lane. Lilac was over a second behind the leader. Now that there were no cars in between her and Alexis and Jesper, Lilac Zier has absolutely motored toward the front. She's made up almost more than a half a second on that group. So absolutely give a shout out to Lilac Zier. You see her there in the pink and black machine. But Lilac, she is going to catch. If this race stays, if this stays like this much longer, her and Jesper are going to be together. And you look out the front of Jesper Orman, and that's a huge advantage for him because now he's got a lap car to draft off of.
Yeah, for sure. Is it really to know,
Here comes Jesper.
Yeah, it's coming now, Jesper and that. I mentioned, it's coming over. It's coming over. Oh, no. It's flag. He got the flag for speeding.
You heard it here first, folks.
And also Phil Kraus.
Phil hits the inside wall. Phil Kraus went to brake for his pit box and hit the inside wall. Phil Kraus has reset. Phil is out of this race. Holy Moses. Meanwhile, wholesale pit stops. Adam Blocker, Sam Carasella on the pit lane. Seb Alexander leaves, and that is a sickening feeling for the Rapid Swede, Jesper Orman, sitting there in the pit box, 40 seconds for speeding on the pit lane. Tough break for Jesper.
What up? You know what? Remember me this about Jesper? Maybe Gary is around. When it's happened on the ERN Indy 500, he came 2 times to the pit, and 2 times he got the speeding. I think it's the 3rd time he retired the car. About the Phil Kraus, he got the speeding, and then he hit the wall because for sure it's game over for him.
Gotcha. We're watching Malechka and Lilac Zier come to the pit lane. That's going to leave Jacob Collins is also affected his final stop. So 23 to go. The lead right now, this is the lead, Malechka, Collins, and Zier. And let's see exactly how this shakes out. So there goes the pack by him.
They came too far.
Let's see where they're going to blend out. They're going to blend out here basically with Blocker and Musselman. So there's Blocker. You've got a second back to AJ Musselman, and then Rob is firmly behind him. These guys are going to by far have the best tires, though. Undercut of the century attempted by Olivia Hayward. She now runs 15th. She's been out 13 laps. Musselman 11. Guillermo has been out 14 laps. He is back to 3rd. But you gotta think, as Alex Van de Zandt leads it with 7 lap fresher tires, that the Firestones on that 15 are going to be hurting here pretty soon.
Whoa, Alexis Newsom saw over Matt, always close. Now it's going to be a race. This is the race is going to be, we want to watch.
Marco!
Nervous. Yeah, everybody's nervous. Everybody wants to go on the front. And Marco's going to battle for the victory with everything.
Yeah, you're going to see those moves start to get more and more desperate. The blocks are going to start coming a lot later. You saw Matt Hollybaugh. He took the apron right around Guillermo and put Matt Hollybaugh up to 4th. Moved Guillermo Miguel back to 5th. Nick Sudik, he is right up against the wall on the high side. Nick appears to be the kid in the schoolyard thinking, why did I walk into this fight?
And also, we have a lap down, Logan Edwards on the front. So it's going to be a problem over there.
Give a shout out to Brandon Trost, who's made an appearance in the chat. Thank you for watching, Brandon. Definitely appreciate your being here. I'd love to see you back out on the track as soon as that can be made possible. But glad to have you a part of the broadcast. Chris Albrecht, shout out to you too, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on the P1 Broadcasting Network. We do have a lot of people watching this broadcast, over 30 concurrent viewers at the moment, and that is absolutely outstanding. Do want to thank everybody who's watching out there. 18 laps to go. Focused in on Marco Brazil. The battle is at the front, though. Alexis Newsom has gone to 2nd around Matt Hollybaugh, and now she's going to have her crack. Maybe clear. She's going to have her crack at Alex Van de Zandt here in the closing laps. Marco, he's gone to the back. He's cooled off his tires. He's got a lap car there. Be careful, boys and girls. Mind your P's and Q's. That is the 17 of Logan Edwards. He will smartly stay to the high side, and here comes the Snarl leaders one more time.
Miguel is going on 6 now. It's getting back.
Yeah, I think that's a combination of the tires being older.
And
he's
20 laps.
It could be too that he's carried so little downforce to be at the front that his car simply will not run in traffic.
Unfortunately, with 20 laps and on front with all of these guys under the 15, for sure it's hard for Miguel keeping on around.
Brandon.
It's gonna be a close battle.
Yeah, we're gonna see one of these patented IndyCar 1.5 finishes here for sure. Brandon, if you ever gets his new wheel stand set up, he'll be racing someday. It's building these rigs. These are people don't realize these are all one-off bespoke setups. Everybody does it a little bit different. Everybody's setup is a little bit different. The computers are by and large hand built and custom made for just this. The only thing on mine is iRacing and the associated stuff to broadcast. That's it. You know, and it's the only thing this computer does. It's shut down cold otherwise. And so when you make changes, it's not as simple as opening a box and turning a few screws, is it, LGN?
Why over there, Matt and Seb Alexander next to Nick Sudit? Well,
where did Seb come from? He lit the afterburners. He was 10th not too long ago. He is second in the points, and he is looking to grab the points lead from Kevin Burrell. Now, it's way too early to talk about points, Marco. It's way too early to talk about points. But Seb Alexander, he's looking to have a day with Kevin Burrell on the sidelines here.
By the way, look at that. Who's close over there, waiting for the momentum. Adam Blocker, and then Robert Maleska on the back.
Yep.
On Sam is lap down, so he's in the contender for the victory.
Yeah, and give a
with 10 laps to go for sure.
Just like death and taxes, we're getting close to checkered flag time. Robert Malechka and Adam Blocker have arrived at the back of the lead group, right? Sam Carosella, not a factor. He is a lap down, and Sam, a very, very, very old school intelligent racer. Do not look for him to go to the front of this pack and make trouble. He's just gonna stay there and try to bring home the car and learn what he can learn. A veteran of the wars in the PM18 series. As a matter of fact, Sam Carosella in the Fiercely Ford car, and we'll show him here, won the overall championship in the PM18. So the iRacing version of the Indy Lights champion, taking the step up to the big cars. He does not have a ton of oval experience, and so Sam looking to continue to build on that. But the battle remains at the front. Van de Zandt leads it. Newsom second. Marco Brazil third. Matt Hollybaugh fourth. And riding the rail at the top, that's Seb Alexander. He's gotten by Hollybaugh, moves Seb to fourth, Hollybaugh to fifth. Luis, look at the attitude of the white, yellow, and orange Indy Alliance machine. Alexander, did you see how he just cut from the top of the speedway down to the bottom in the draft and didn't lose any momentum? Did you see that?
Yeah, I think so. They saved all the good stuff for the end, and he's going for it. And it's I think. Well, I'm gonna say, let's be realistic. To get the victory, it's kind of hard. You have to do something dirty to try to get the first place. The second is possible, but Alexa Newsom, it's pretty hard to compete with her. Could be better for the podium.
Little bit of wheel banging between Hollybaugh and Alexander. They get away with it. Seb moves past Matt Hollybaugh rather. He'll go to third. Hollybaugh back to fourth momentarily. Seb sets his sights on Alexis Newsom now. And she's still trying to kind of, I think, feel or figure a way that she can get by Alex Van de Zandt, or at least maybe pressure him into a mistake. Now, that is going to be easier said than done. Alex Van de Zandt is a longtime veteran of these wars. He's an Elite Racing League champion. He's a Lionheart winner. Alex Van de Zandt's a very rapid and very experienced gentleman. And I gotta think, if it stays between these guys, and here comes Malechka now. He has moved his way around Marco, so put Malechka up to fourth. He's going to swing it to the outside of Alexander. And again, that same thing that we saw out of the IR car, we see it out of the power slide machine of Robert Malechka. It just darts to the bottom of the speedway from the top. And nobody else, we've not seen that. Marco Brazil in the wall a little bit.
We want to pass for three to go to the end.
Yep, and let's put it on the leaders, because Alexis has decided that now is the time. She is going to go to the side pod of Alex Van de Zandt, get to the whip, and see if she can't pass the power slide machine that has been rampant and dominant for this entire evening. Alexis Newsom right to the back, pops out in the draft, down the backstretch. Now, she may very briefly head Alex going into turn 3, does not, and look who's poking his nose in there. That is Seb Alexander. He's going to try to run for second with 2 to go, and Malechka is going to go to the outside, make it 3 wide for second.
Like like I told you, the only alternative to get something is maybe fight for Alexis Newsom's. He gained the position, but it's hard. It's coming the white flag.
Yeah, we're going to come get the white flag, and let's think about this a little bit, LG. And you kind of want to be back a little bit. You want to have some kind of a run when you get to the end of the back straight, because you're going to have to pop out, and then you're going to have to drive around Alex Van de Zandt. You just can't stick it on the outside like for the entire lap. Newsom to the outside. And I will say this, I got to believe it's going to be completely fair between these three. Rob Malechka is going to go to the outside. He's going to make it 3 wide for the win. Malechka to the outside of Newsom. Newsom, yeah, he's going to drop it back to the bottom.
Oh, that's close.
Newsom.
Wow.
And Malechka gets into the back of Zandt. It's going to be Alex Van de Zandt bring home the win. Alexis Newsom second. And the king of everything, Rob Malechka, will round out your podium.
Oh, we have an incident on the back. Adam Blocker with Nick Sudik.
Well,
net code.
let's see. They're classified 7th and 17th here.
With Miguel over there in ball.
Yeah, watching here. Here comes Adam. He's coming up the track. Might have been a little bit of netcode, but I think they were going to get together there anyway. And poor Nick, he gets up in the fence. Upside down goes Guillermo. He will finish the race on his lid. No, he sat back down on his wheels. But Guillermo's going to finish the race with parts a flying and aside. So, a fun night here at the Kansas Speedway.
Really good race.
Absolutely. The winner in the Indy Open Top Split from Kansas, Alex Van de Zandt second, Alexis Newsom rounding out your podium, Robert Malechka the third. Seb Alexander will bring it home fourth, and it will assume what I would imagine to be the points lead. Matt Hollybaugh will be fifth. Marco Brazil a fine run of sixth. Adam Blocker came from the back. The Dark Knight will come home seventh. AJ Musselman, great run for him. He'll be eighth. Guillermo Miguel is ninth, and Jacob Collins, who would have thought that would have been the top road racing car? He'll round out the top 10 in 11th. In 11th is Jason Collins. Lilac Zier is 12th. Olivia Hayward 13th. Kyle Clinworth, our broadcasted booth mate, is 14th. James Allen 15th. Nathan Moore, road racing 8th. He'll come home on the lead lap 16th. And poor Nick Sudik had a great run all night. He was on the front line for most of the event. Nick is going to be 17th, a lap down Logan Edwards. Jesper Orman 19th after his pit lane infraction. Sam Carosella will round out the top 20. He was 2 laps down, and shotgun on the field out of the race after a spin on the pit lane is Phil Kraus. Let's see if we can't get some replays queued up and see if we can't find old Rob Malechka.
I think we have it. It's in there.
All right, going down into the interview room, we've got third place Robert Malechka, and let's go ahead and bring up the king of everything. Rob, we call you the king of everything. Maybe we should call you the king of worst to first. 16th place, you came home third. I thought you were going to take it up to the high side there on the last lap and drive right by Alexis and Alex. Tell us about your day, my man.
Yeah, I along with Phil signed up with about 10 minutes left. Didn't do many laps, and Adam's like, "Hey, we're going with the trim set." So we're like, "Okay, sure." And we quickly found out that once we were behind a few cars, we were complete garbage. So it looked like putting on the downforce was definitely the right move. Unfortunately, we didn't do that, but yeah, just kind of rode around there, save as much tire as I could, and have the clean air. And went as long as I could. That last pit stop, had the freshest tires there at the end, and just kind of try to make the most out of having the trim set. So couldn't get the win, but congrats to Alex and Alexis on the P2, and I think the third was kind of the best you could do once you were coming through the field.
Absolutely. LGN, you got anything for Rob this evening?
No, I don't have nothing. Just a good race. To be honest, I thought it's gonna be a stay on the back, but we already everybody know about your strategy is going back to the front and just leave it these guys to kill. But you did a good job, so I really enjoyed the race.
Yeah, thanks. And it seems like we couldn't really wrap the bottom because of the downforce we chose, but the car was really good up top, and if we ever got a little bit of clean air, like we could just roll by people. So if it was a little bit cooler of a track temp, it's probably the way to go. But unfortunately, we didn't get that gen. But we made the most out of it.
Absolutely, Rob. Well, good to have you up in the booth. Congratulations on the bottom step of the podium. You got any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to this evening, sir? You've earned it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, mainly just thanks to Adam for making us hate our lives for a little bit and adventurous. So yeah,
absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow at Dover.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, my friend. Keep going fast, having fun, and I'll see you tomorrow night at 7:15, buddy.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Yes, sir. That is the king of everything, as we call him, Mr. Robert Malechka. Coming home second, and this is somebody we don't get a chance to talk to very much. Alexis Newsom. Alexis, Mark Murphy and Luis Gonzalez Nunez in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Hi. Yep, I do.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I think whoever was leading got tired of seeing the red, white, and blue i5G car behind him, because you were pretty much second or third and playing peekaboo in the rearview mirrors for most of the evening. What do you think it would have taken to get just that one more spot up?
Oh, I probably needed to make a move earlier when Alex wasn't expecting it, like when he was still coming out the bottom going into one. I think I just waited too long, because by the time we got to the end, he was obviously blocking that, and I couldn't do anything about it. He did great though. Yeah,
it was a fine run. It was clean as a whistle too. I kind of expected with you and Alex and Rob on the front line, Seb up there too, that you were all going to give it a straight and fair fight. Luis, do you have anything for Alexis?
It's the first. Well, we talked about before in Lionheart.
Yeah.
Good to see you again around. I hope to see you around for more. Did you have like a test to do something with take the victory? Like, I can do this, I can do that, or maybe in the middle, because everybody do it. But do you have any choice to do some move to the end?
Honestly, here when you can just ride the line like that, there's not a lot. Like, you can try to back up and hit them when they're not expecting it, but it's really difficult to do that, and especially without getting overtaken from the people behind it. Because like I tried to do that once, and then Seb got underneath me, and I couldn't do it within. So it's just a bunch of things were running through my mind every lap, but I couldn't figure out anything.
I'll tell you what, you figured out how to run second tonight, Alexis, and it's a 4900 SOF. So that's a pretty doggone good result, and congratulations on that. We don't get a chance to talk to you up here very often, so do want to thank you for stopping by. Any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to this evening? The floor is yours.
Oh, thanks everyone. I5G had a pretty good set. It was a old one that I converted from a different track, but it was a great set, and just I love all the guys over there at I5G. So I guess that's about it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, and it was awesome to talk to you. You and I have had some really fun battles on the track, and I look forward to more of those. Keep going fast, having fun, and we'll see you back up here in the broadcast booth, I'm sure.
Yep, I agree. See you guys.
See you, Alexis. That was Alexis Newsom. She runs second this evening. We do not have our winner this evening, so we'll go ahead and put Alex Van de Zandt's number one power slide machine up on the graphic. And while we do that, let's get our in-race reporter Kyle Clinworth up in the broadcast booth. Clindy, probably not the day you wanted, but not bad, right?
We'll say it was middling. I'm just very happy I didn't kill Matt, and he was able to recover to a top 5. That's only the highlight of my day, is that I ran out of talent on turn 2 with a setup I had not enough practice on for restarts. But, you know, Matt deserves all the praise, man. I hamstrung him, and he still fought all day and got a top 5. Matt, what do you have to say about it?
Well, I got something to say to Matt before Matt says anything. So, Matt, this guy hit you with a banana peel on lap 2, and somehow you managed to drive it back up and nearly get to the front of the line. Tell us, what were you guys working together in that, or was it an unspoken thing, or because you two were doing the swap, which is very difficult at 1.5 miles?
Yeah, so we were absolutely working together. Like I was telling Clendy in the waiting room before you pulled us in that I didn't really have much choice other than to work with him. I said I don't really hide that I don't really have that good of a relationship with Marco Brazil. I was telling him, like, I would have worked with Marco if it was in the same situation. Yeah, but it worked out great. Like, once we got within the draft of the lead pack, which, like, I'm not gonna hide it, they were saving fuel. They were trying to minimize their pit stop time later in the race, but that's still a 4.5 second gap that we pulled out. So credit to Clendy for he made it right. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you'll be glad next week when he's back up in the booth with me instead of running into you, right?
Well, I'm not going to name names for the setup shop that he dropped that he's using. But hopefully he's not using that setup shop next week.
Understood. Well, thank you so much both for stopping by. Clindy, you and I have a date with blue shells and mushroom power-ups here in about an hour, don't we?
Yeah, so long as it goes better than this one, I think I'll be in good shape. I think I came away with a top 15 or something, which is just under the top half of the field. But Jacob Collins, man, shout out to him. I know he was my teammate and he was helping me out as much as he could, but I just could not lead that third or second pack, whatever we were. We were losing like 0.6 a lap. I was so slow in clean air. So hopefully I won't have any teammates to help me out in the next race. So I'll try not to flip off of you, even though I tried my hardest to flip off of Matt in lap 2 today. So, just keep flipping on these broadcasts. So,
hey, it's absolutely
airborne.
It's absolutely a pleasure. I want to thank both of you for playing the good soldiers and stopping in, Clindy under yellow. I know that's not always the easiest thing to do while you're.
Oh, it was a breeze, Murph. Thanks for having me. Also, thanks for letting me race. I know I said at the top of the show, but I don't get to get out to these Monday night SOFs often. And I thought maybe I could do well at this one. I'd like to think myself a Kansas merchant, but I needed to pay a little more for a setup, I guess, and I would have been just as fast as Matt tonight.
Speaking of setup shops, by the way, credit to P1 Docs in Hamilton. He's told me how to pronounce it. I'm not even going to try.
Akabuezi. Hamilton Akabuezi.
Yeah. I respect him too much to say it wrong. Speaking of someone else with a difficult last name of Halaba, I don't want to do that to him. I don't like it when people say my last name wrong. But credit to him. Credit to P1 Docs. They built one heck of a setup. Like, I barely touched this thing in the garage, and it was just a rocket ship.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, Clindy, you two keep going fast, having fun, and we will see you boys next week. And for us, LGN, that was a ton of fun. I keep coming back to these races are getting so much better, so much more competitive. It's not just, the same big three teams dominant and rampant at the front while everybody, kind of falls in line and fights for the scraps. We've had Phil win. We've had Kevin Burrell up here in the winner's circle. We had Seb Alexander run at the front. He's going to be the points leader at the end of the night. And Alex Van de Zandt, what a show he put on, holding off Alexis Newsom for the win here at Kansas.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. Always with the good people and always with experienced people, it's making a good race around. So, two things. Really, I enjoyed the race. Thank you for Clendy for being around in the track and just let me around over here. It was a good race. So to be honest, thank you so much for that, all of you guys. And also, thanks so much for all the viewers around today. And the second thing is just today, the Sim Motion ISRA in 1 hour. It's gonna be me and Gary and I gonna be over there on the booth. So we're gonna have you, Mark. It's gonna be Clendy, some others around. So round 4, Texas. So see you there.
Absolutely. I've got a banana peel saved up just for Kyle Clinworth tonight. That's going to go off in 1 hour and 7 minutes, 9:30, right here on the P1 Broadcasting booth. Gary Gazzo, Luis Gonzalez Nunez in the booth for the ISRA Series round at Texas. And so look forward to having you all come back for that one. Meanwhile, for myself, Luis, everybody at P1, do want to thank everybody, our first responders, firemen, police, EMTs, military, everybody who does the hard work at night so that we can lay our heads down on the pillow and sleep safe and sound. Do want to thank them as always. If you do feel like kicking us a few bucks, we do these for free and just for donations and tips. But if you do, please feel free to hit the GoFundMe. That does help us out with paying for some of the stuff that goes along with these broadcasts, because they are not free for us to do. And so definitely appreciate that. As always, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and do those things, because even if you can't do anything monetarily, the like and subscribe deal does help us out tremendously. We are kind of a fledgling new network, so to speak, and so every one of those subscribes is precious. For myself, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Mark Murphy, saying so long and good night from Texas. We will see you next week, same time, same channel.